Hey everyone, this is Modest Millions, and today we're going to be continuing our TSM series and talking about groups. The basic groups, tools that help you find and make your groups, tips on your group setup, and why it's important to have detailed groups, as well as general tips and tricks I've learned over the years of playing with TSM. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and join the Discord so you don't miss out on any upcoming news or guides, and let's go. So first off, let's lay out some areas that we're going to be covering when it comes to TSM groups. First, we're going to be talking about the general groups tab and the base group. Second, we're going to be talking about the tools for making groups, which cover TSM Group Maker, Wowhead, and the crafting window, as well as tips on groups and group setup. And finally, we'll have a nice little recap of everything that we cover. So we have plenty to talk about, so let's get started. All right, so for demonstration purposes, I have a blank profile so that when we start and you see what I'm doing, we can start together. You can know what I do, and it looks exactly like it's going to look when you start yours on your own. Now, if you open up TSM, you're going to see the Groups tab up at the top. You're going to click it, and then it'll show up like this. And since you're just getting started, or you have a few groups, your Groups tab is going to look like this. You have your search bar up at the top for later on because you're going to have more groups than you can remember so that you can search these easily. Right next to that, you have your import button. When you click your import button, this is going to allow you to import group strings from other people. So for example, if you're a gold goblin and you have access to my TSM groups, then you could import mine straight from here into your TSM profile with 2 simple clicks. But if not, then you're going to want to use the search bar over here to search items. With this search bar, you can search any item in the WoW database to add into a group, which is extremely useful. There's also a button over here that allows you to ignore variations. Now, this is used in very specific cases. This is normally used for transmog so that you're not having to add each variation for Fever Flame, Quick Blade, etc., just to be able to make your group. But there are times when you want to add those variations into your groups because with crafted items, those differences in stats actually mean more or less gold. And then finally, you have your button over here under the base group that allows you to make new groups and make further variations and groups under your main group. This allows you to have ultimate control and organization however you want it, from extremely basic, alphabetical, all the way to multi-leveled organization, grouping by cost, and how many you want to post. But that's for another advanced guide. So all you really need to know about your base group is that it is your generic group, and this has all of the items that are not specifically in groups already. This is more of a safety net, so if you don't have items in groups already, you can still use the base group and list them. And now that we have the basics out of the way, let's talk about some additional tools that you can use to make your groups. So the main 3 things that we're going to cover are Wowhead, TSM Group Maker, and the TSM Crafting Window. With Wowhead and the TSM Crafting Window, these are used together. So say that you're wanting to make a group and you're wanting to make a group for daggers. We can come here to the Wowhead database. And you're going to come to the database and then search for items, weapons, and daggers. And then you can come here to the additional filters, and then you can also do bind on equip. This is going to make sure that you're only getting the bind on equip items that are going to be sellable on the auction house. And instead of having to hand type all of these into TSM, you can copy all of the links over to the TSM Group Maker. This will then turn all the links into the item numbers for each dagger. And this is what you need to import into your TSM so that you can make your groups. So what I would recommend doing whenever you're doing large groups is set up a text document so that you can copy one page from the Group Maker, get all the IDs, and then import them all at the same time into the TSM groups in the game. So then you can come over here to TSM, hit import group, copy and paste. Now you have your imported group, and then click import, And when you look under your group, it's going to have all of the blades that I selected from wowhead. And finally, we're going to be talking about the TSM crafting window itself. And I know I have mentioned this before, but a lot of people still don't know that you can come over here and click the 3 dots right here, and it gives you the option to actually create groups from table simply by clicking it, waiting for them to add up, and then once you log out here and come back to TSM, you will have a group that is actually for that profession made with everything that you're currently able to make on this character. So as you can see, I did that with my tailoring character, and now just from a simple click, I have everything that I can make for tailoring in groups on this character. And now that you're ready to go making your groups, let's talk about how I personally organize my groups and some tips so that I can help you along the way. So first off, you need organization. So how I have mine broken down is by top class first. So what group are you making? Are they recipes, blacksmithing crafted items, pets? Whatever that is, that's going to be first. Then the next question that you need to ask is, what expansion is this from? Make a group for every expansion. Then, depending on what item it is, it may have to be separated further into different zones. If it's a material that's farmed in only a specific zone or a pet, you get the idea. And then normally my final one is either separated by the amount of items that I'm wanting to sell so that I can separate the faster and slower moving items, or the amount that they are selling for. So let's take my transmog file for example. Transmog is the name of the top group. Under that, I have it separated into expansions. So we have vanilla and burning crusade so far. Beyond that, I have it separated into epic, rare, uncommon, and white items. And then again, from there, I have it separated a little bit further into how they sell. So 5K and under, 5 to 10K, 10 to 50K, 50 to 500, 500 plus, and unobtainable items. Now, this may seem like overkill, but I'll show you why this is important. So if you want to do a shopping scan on just the vanilla and TBC transmog profiles, you can scan it right here, but you can see that you're going to be scanning for thousands and thousands of items. And this is going to take a very long time to scan your auction house. You're going to have tons of items. And as you can see here, there's 5,016 items that your auction house is going to have to scan through. You can do this. You can let it run and just walk away. However, there are more efficient things if you don't have the time to sit here and let it scan. And that is where the breakdown of the groups and narrowing the items comes into play. So if you come back here, we can actually just come here and say if we just wanted to search for just the vanilla items, we could do a shopping scan for just the vanilla items. That cut 1,000 items out there. But even if we wanted to be even more specific, we could come back and we could look and say that I only want to look for vanilla items, and I only want to look at epic items, and I really only want to look for unobtainable items that are on my server right now. I can click that, come all the way down to here, and only see the epic unobtainable items that are currently up on my server from vanilla, hit a shopping scan, and there may be no items up, and that's okay, but at least we have a very quick way of knowing that there are no items. We can go back here and I can look and see, oh, well, maybe I want to look at the 10 to 50K items as well. Run a shopping scan. Now I have 28 items, but it narrows that window for me. And when you have this type of detail, it's very easy to search for those items, look for specific items that you want to flip, and then start doing very well in those markets. So now let's recap. The main page has everything that you need to import groups, make and organize your own, and even search items for groups. The wowhead database, TSM group maker, and the TSM crafting window makes creating groups simple as copy and paste after some research, and allows you to constantly update your crafting groups based on the current recipes your crafters have. And then finally, organization is key. Creating more detailed groups gives you more control over posting, searching, and flipping items, which leads to higher profits and better workflow. If you do all of these things, you will have very detailed groups with amazing organization and can start conquering your server's auction house. Our next TSM guide is going to cover operations and custom price sources because those deserve its own video. And that's going to be it for this guide, guys. Make sure you join the Discord. And if you're interested in my profiles for TSM, then check out my Patreon. And thank you all to everyone that's joined. You guys are absolutely amazing. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please comment, like, and subscribe down below. And I will see you all in the next video.